Shalom Yasharallah, peace be unto the nation of Israel. Whom are they so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and speckled Israelites, whom are the Israelite foreigners scattered across the four corners of the earth, including to America, Babylon the Great. And we are the Most High Yahweh's chosen people of the nation of Israel. So without further ado, as always, just want to give all praises, glory, infinite honor to my power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom is God of the living, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barach, Quadash, which is our praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. In the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, who is our strength and our Redeemer, and our light and our salvation. In the same tongue, when I go to an utter Mashana, Kabawadium, Lahasaquanium, Shalom Gulabarakab, meaning double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, on down, and Shalom, honor and salutations to Bayah Shadawada, the house of David. All right, as your fellow servant, Malak Rayash, back at it again, another lesson through the spirit of prophecy, being the testimony of our Lord and Savior, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, who the master of the world, ignorantly referred to Jesus Christ. And this is a lesson, based off of a spiritual review of his movie that recently came out yesterday, called Civil War. And there's another, predictive programming production by Esau Edom to further forecast, or to further proclaim and declare, the inner works of his satanic New World Order agenda, which includes lawlessness, on behalf of his Hegelian dialectic, by utilizing methods to, create these various problems, issues in the earth, that was a result in, chaos, mayhem, untrustworthiness or lack of trust on behalf of civilians, under these various governments of those respective governments, like it says in 2nd Ezra 15 and 16, how to be sedition among men. And this is what this movie is all about, the reaction to the effects of pandemonium and anarchy by immoral decrees, policies, and, a lack of righteous rulership ultimately on behalf of Esau Edom, as it says in Sirach 10, Proverbs 29, and so forth. So one of the first things I noticed in this movie, and this is the spoiler alert, so, you already know what to do if you haven't seen the movie, but, as prophets, as overseers, we it's our job, it's our duty, as it says in Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, the duty, to fulfill the duties of the Lord, roughly paraphrasing, and that includes being a watchman, and so we're not ignorant of you devil devices, because that's a part of our duty, in his ministry. All right. So what I noticed, one of the first things I noticed in this movie is that you had the press out there, within these, within this military incursion, against the powers that be. All right. Where you had, essentially had the military, going up against the civilians, civilians were, where, civilians were armed. And then in the midst of that civil war, they showed the press. All right. And it further reminded me that the press is not off limits, because you would think in that particular time, because like it says in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, there's a time and a place for everything, including a time of war, pursuing Ecclesiastes 3 and 8. So you would think in that time, people would be more adamant about survival, but these people that, the press, that were, on the ground, with, in the midst of the civil war with their cameras and whatnot, were in the spirit of, they were in a career-driven spirit. Another indication they trust in the shadow of this world, the shadow of Egypt, and all of his vain, false, empty promises, that, including that liberty and justice is still for all. Okay, which is clearly not the case, and that's being further, confirmed, by way of Esau further ridiculing those who are, considered anti-establishment and anti-government. So this is that spiritual warfare that's gonna truly manifest in these last days, where faithless people are gonna take matters into their own hands and go pick up firearms, modern day swords, prophesied in 2nd Ezra 15:16, and go aim them at the government. All right. So in the midst of that, I noticed that the press was in the midst of the, of that civil war, capturing everything in their cameras. Okay, with no firearms on them. It's not like they're spiritual anyway. So you would think that they would be prepared with a firearm just in case, someone tried to take their head off. But, further represented like these the vast majority of these people that marvel after this beast system that trust in Egypt, modern day Egypt, the house of bondage, like it says in the book of Isaiah. All right, and uh, and that's why a good number of them journalists were put to death in that movie. So I'm gonna go ahead and segue over to this article here. It's on CPJ.org. It says journalist casualties in the Israel-Gaza war. It says the list below is CPJ's most recent and preliminary account of journalist deaths in the war. Our database will not include all of these casualties until we have completed further investigations into the circumstances surrounding them. For more information, says, jumping down to the point, it says, as of April 12, 2024, which is yesterday, CPJ's preliminary investigations showed at least 95 journalists and media workers were among the more than 35,000 eliminated since the war began on October 7th, with more than 33,000 Palestinian deaths, Ishmaelites, in Gaza and the West Bank, and 1,200 deaths in Israel. So you journalists are not off limits, okay, in the face of guerrilla warfare, man. Okay, now, and it reminds me of this other article here, where this famous Palestinian journalist Shireen Abu Akleh was was shot dead while covering Israeli military operation in the West Bank a few years ago. So despite her 25 years in her profession, okay, being a career-driven individual she was, that didn't save her, man. So that's what the people of the press, like including Kirsten Dunst's character in the movie, represented. Just vain-minded people who still believe in the system, who believe that they have a future, and that's the only reason why they were so career-driven with their cameras and trying to capture everything. To feed off of the nostalgia, of these images that we get on camera and whatnot. Okay, further confirming that the majority of these people, that exist now, are not in the right spirit. All right, they're not watching for the signs of the return of Hamashiach Yahushai, okay, because they don't believe in him ultimately. So I'm going to start off in this first precept in Ephesians chapter 7, starting verse 24, and it says, wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled. So the worst of the heathen are the Edomites, and that is a nation who's ruling this earth right now. The same people who have adopted Judaism by the wicked Israelite John Hyrcanus, okay, all right, who forced the righteous ways of the Lord upon the heathen, and that's how that custom Judaism was developed and established, and forced on Esau, Edom, the Edomites, and mainly the Amalekites, all right, and that's why branch or offspring of the Amalekites, being King Bulan, okay, further, took that Judaism custom and ran with it. And this is why you kind of have to believe that you're the people now. Okay, but you're not, which I further brought out in the last lesson I did yesterday through the Spirit and Power of Yahweh Shemai Shai, Baruch Kodash. Okay, because the strongholds being further torn down these last days. So you're the ones who are ruling the nations with great persecution and anger through your blessing, the sword. Like it says in Isaiah 14:6. Okay, and the Holy Spirit of the prophecies of the scriptures have further revealed who you are, and that you are the one behind this satanic New World Order agenda. All right, there's no other nation, on the earth, despite you blaming these nations, to try to point the finger at them to further, revert the attention off of you, being that you're being exposed. Okay, you are the common denominator of this world's, of this world being turned upside down. And this is why the further effects of that is going to be destruction, okay, through this anarchy and pandemonium and mayhem, out in these streets, okay, because America, Babylon the Great, the hammer of the earth, does not exercise order through the satanic theme of America, liberty, and justice for all, promoting sexual liberty, sodomy, whoredom, okay, detestable perverseness, okay, weird vibrations, okay. This place is destined to be destroyed. It's prophesied in the scriptures, man. And you Edomites are behind that, all right? Because you brought the same vibration down there in the Holy Land during the Roman persecution in 70 AD and caused, the Southern Kingdom, okay, to flee to the, to Northwest Africa, as is prophesied in St. Luke, the 21st chapter, all right? But it didn't stop there. You've been terrorizing the entire world, man, under your God complex Edomite supremacy. So it says here in verse 25, destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. All right, like it says in 1 Thessalonians 5. When they shall seek peace and safety, sudden destruction shall fall upon them. So everyone that marvels after Esau, Edom, all right, the beast himself and his beast system, okay, are going to be destroyed with his empire, his satanic, wicked, effeminate queendom, his empire of Shaitan worship. And this is what this place is all about, promoting the ways of Shaitan, which Shaitan means adversary. And this is why this devil is a physical counterpart of what is adverse to righteousness, man. Okay, including a woman acting like a man, or a woman usurping authority over a man. Okay, men acting effeminate. Okay, all kinds of sexual immorality and wickedness being promoted here. And this is even the dietary laws are more so kept in these other countries than America, Babylon Great. This wicked capitalistic corporation of commerce. Okay. With certain foods and ingredients or chemicals, shall I say, are banned in these certain places, like Russia banning McDonald's and so forth. So, having all this been said, this is further why America, Babylon the Great, is the main place of the captivity of the lost 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, further revealing who are the Israelites according to biblical prophecy, why they're predominantly in America, and why America is destined to be destroyed, man. Okay, and that's because the common denominator, Esau, Edom, is ruling this earth, mainly through the hammer of the earth, America. Or Ezekiel 7:26, mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priest, and accounts from the ancients. And the ancients are in the context of this prophecy of the prophets, man. Presented Jeremiah 28:8. They were always around to prophesy against wicked, evil empires of famine, war, and pestilence. Okay, that's why Claudius Caesar had us expelled from Rome for us doing the same things we're doing now. Okay, so people are not going to be able to seek counsel from the ancients anymore as to why such evils in earth. Okay, like it says in Isaiah 24:11, Isaiah 24, I believe in the 11th verse, says there shall be a cry for wine in the streets. Okay, people are going to be meaning what? Wine in the Hebrew yayan. Okay, and it goes into actual wine that you get drunk off of, intoxicated off of, and when you're intoxicated, you're under the influence of something. And these people are under the influence of this proverbial wine of Esau, Edom, that Western philosophy in Jeremiah 51 and 51, going into that. Okay. And this is why these people are sobering up off of that wine. And the further indication of that is the sedition among men prophecy. Okay. Of civil war. Okay. Further invoking Esau to impose martial law. All right. So this is verse 27. The king shall mourn, and the prince shall be clothed with desolation, and the hands of the people of the land shall be troubled. I will do unto them after their way, and according to their deserts will I judge them, and they shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. So this is more so going into the judgment against, Jake, or mainly 2/3 in this time. All right, how 2/3 is going to be cut off, okay, for their iniquity, okay, by way of their unbelief in the Lord, man. Okay, and looking at Esau as their God. So Yahweh Shem Shai is going to bring vindication upon this earth because of the iniquity, abounding, like it says in St. Matthew 24:12. And that's why when Kirsten Dunst got put to death at the end of the movie, her little Shedemite journalist pupil didn't even bat an eye when she got put to death. She didn't even look at her, man. She looked in her direction when she got put to death, but she wasn't even concerned about her well-being. That's another spiritual, tidbit, so to say, that I caught as well, that people don't give a damn about each other, man, collectively, because within the word of the Lord, we learn how to love each other. Okay. And love is an action, looking out for someone, through the spirit. Okay. Praying for them. Okay. Confessing one's faults to each other when offenses come. Okay. But this world doesn't hold themselves accountable because it operates out the vibration of the king of Babylon. And why did the king of Babylon, this golden city, Esau, Edom? And this is why this place is destined to be destroyed. Now, the next thing that I noticed in this movie was a bunch of destruction, through these dead bodies on the ground. That lines up with Revelation 11:8, where it says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord Hamashiach Yahushua was crucified." Okay, and this place is modern day Sodom, modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, modern day Egypt. Okay, places of pagan idolatry and satanic vibrations of wickedness. Okay, and this is why destruction. This is why this is why this prophecy 2:4. These people are dead spiritually. Okay, because they do not have that holy breath, the Holy Spirit dwelling in them. Like it says in Wisdom of Solomon 1:4, wisdom cannot dwell in malicious souls. And that's the vast majority of these people, man. So they're already spiritually dead, and their death is going to further manifest, okay, within a physical death. And that's why a lot of dead bodies were seen on the street, like it said like it says here in this precept. Case in point. And that reminded me of this, this image that popped up in my mind when I saw these dead bodies, and I saw like these underground like burial, um, like these little underground burials where, um, people were, dead bodies of Esau's military were putting people in. All right, like that one Edomite, of the main Edomite in that trailer, the majority of us have seen when he asked that man, the journalist, what kind of American are you? He said, I'm American. He said, what kind of American are you? Are you Central American? Are you South American? And he said, I'm from Florida. He said, okay, Central American. Then he asked this other guy, okay, where are you from? Because the other guy was cowering in the corner. Okay, the so-called Chinese Moabite. Okay, cow in the corner. Despite him indulging in folly, a few minutes before that scene, he was riding around, playing around. Okay, so so and he ended up getting put to death after um, the Edomite military cat asked him, so what is your nationality, or like where are you from? He said Hong Kong, and he put him to death right there. And that was another thing too that I caught. Like it says in like how Shai prophesied in St. Matthew 24, how nation shall rise against nation. So all these foreign mercenaries crossing the border, they're going to be used to put people to death. And see, the other side of that spectrum is people are going to start noticing that more and more, and that's going to further, that's going to further invoke fear in the hearts of these so-called pro-patriotic Americans and so forth, to fear for their national security. So when they think of a foreigner, okay, they really going to start thinking about these not only Issachar and these other northern tribes, but these other actual foreign nations like Moab, Ammon, okay, Ishmael, and these other nations that cross the border, okay. And that's going to further that further ties into nation against nation as well, nationality against nationality, kingdom against kingdom. That's another very spiritual thing that I caught as well in that movie. But when they were when like right in the beginning of that scene, where a little Shedemite journalist and that dumbass Moabite, was indulging in folly, playing around, speeding around, they got caught up by the military with one of Esau's checkpoints. And then so when they started getting interrogated, then they revealed, like it was like a dumpster truck full of like dead bodies, man. That they were dumping in these like uh, underground burials that reminded me of the scene from the incident of the Battle of Wounded Knee, which took place in the late 19th century, where Gad, so-called Native American Indians, were massacred by this devil. Okay, which is the largest U.S. shooting to this day. It's not a coincidence that it happened against Jake. So it says, burial of the dead at the Battle of Wounded Knee. Okay, it says, photograph shows U.S. Army soldiers watching while Native American Lakota people were put to death by the U.S. Army in the Wounded Knee massacre on December 29th, 1890, are buried in a mass grave. Okay, and through the spirit, during that time, Esau showed no mercy, man. Okay, like against men, women, and children, where he was luring children out of their hiding places to massacre them. Okay, now further lines up with Deuteronomy 28, where it says that they wouldn't have any regard for the young nor old, roughly paraphrasing. That's why in the book of Maccabees it speaks about how these devils were lynching us back then, in the beginning of so-called white supremacy during the Greek Hellenistic period, and obviously they're still lynching Jake. Okay, and the largest And it's also not a coincidence. The largest lynching in American history, okay, happened to Gad, the so-called Native Americans. Okay, of 303, 303 Native American Indians from the tribe of Gad. Okay, somewhere around the 18th century. You see that? So that further confirms that Judah and Israel would be pressed together, so-called Negroes and Indigenous, the saints of Israel. Okay, so another spiritual thing that I caught in the movie. This image just popped up in my mind. So I'm going to enlarge this here, so you can see there's an underground burial that Esau was dumping the dead Lakota bodies in. Okay, so this is the wickedness that throughout the secular course of history, filled the biblical prophecy that Esau has done to the lost tribes of Israel. Okay, shedding our blood, okay, senselessly, okay, for for his quest of global dominion, man. Through exacerbating and exhausting resources, through the gold, through the cattle. That's why this devil, killed off the buffalo supply to starve out Gad. Another war tactic, because he couldn't take, that was to compensate for his inability to take Gad and Reuben in hand-to-hand combat, because he's a weak, docile pussy, man. To be quite frank, a wimp. The basis of all men is like it says in the book of Job, the 30th chapter, and so forth. Okay. So not a spiritual gem I caught in the movie, So and that reminds me of Jeremiah the 16th chapter. It says that their dead bodies should not be lamented or buried, because there's going to be so much death. Okay, I'm gonna grab this quick precept, Revelation 16 and 6, and it says, "For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy." So you definitely gonna be given plenty of blood to drink, man. I mean, you're gonna be put to death, including your men and women in the army, and including transformers, man. Okay, like it says in Ezekiel, the 35th chapter, and similar precepts. Okay, you're gonna be dead in the mountaintops, roughly paraphrasing. Okay. All right. So, and then that goes for you other heathen nations, man, and all those who marvel after this beast system, because you know when people think, so that battle of wounded knee image, is further indicative of the legacy of America, Babylon the Great, and that's carnality and witchcraft. Okay, really directed towards the saints. Okay, but it wasn't to stop there. This was to affect the entire world who posed this devil. Okay, it reminds me of this these lyrics from the song. I'm going to bring this up here. All right, it's from "Who Do We Trust" by R.A. the Rugged Man and Immortal Technique, and this is what Immortal Technique said. Okay, which I believe he's an Asherite. This is what he said. He said, "Oh man, I'm not going to read the entire lyrics, but get straight down to the point." He says, "The drug addicted, but not the families of the ruling class that's afflicted, causes a fucking caste system like corrupted Hinduism. I think you should listen. I've been through the system in prison. I've been through religion. Carry the cross as a Christian like it was establishmentarianism into the seeds of despotism, arrested my vision, lyricism with cynicism and syllogisms until they Pedro Albizu Campos and kill me in prison. Chemtrail conditions, stem cells allowed Strauss philosophy." All right, the point of the lyrics is coming up towards the very end. It says the birth of neocon policy, but I laughed. Here's a point. He said, but I laughed at America's fear of a new world order controlling the hemisphere, cause my people been living that for the past 500 years. When I heard that, I was like, that's mad spiritual, man, that he said that, because he's considered a so-called Latino or indigenous for the tribe of Asher. Okay. But he's speaking on behalf of the southern and the northern kingdom. That was highly spiritual, because this is the time frame the so-called Negroes have been in slavery and really over that. Okay, that history also includes you indigenous for the northern tribes. So that's very spiritual, man. So you devils, okay, you're gonna be given plenty of blood to drink for shedding the blood of Yasharallah. And this lines up with the next precept in Joel 3:19, which reads, Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. All right. So say Egypt shall be desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness. Okay. Drawing those parallels between the two. Okay. Areas, which certain areas are people, a nation of people before a place, including Jerusalem. All right. So Egypt is a house of bondage. It's not a coincidence that that's mentioned in the same precept where it mentions Esau, Edom, because the modern day Egyptian empire is being ran by the modern day Pharaoh, Esau, Edom. This is why you had Ptolemy, Ptolemy Soter become the first. I believe it's Ptolemy Soter became the first Edomite pharaoh that that indoctrinated Egypt the Roman iconoclasm. Through these Edomite images like Serapis Christus. Okay, another origin of so-called Jesus Christ. So this is why this is going to why America, Babylon the Great, modern day Egypt under Esau Edom is going to be destroyed. Okay, and it's being destroyed, and it's going to be destroyed internally. All right, through these various plagues, man. Through civil war, through the sword. In 2 Esdras 15:5. All right, pestilence, famine. Okay, sexual assaults. It's gonna be complete pandemonium and anarchy out here in these streets, man. Just like down in Pennsylvania, they already got the purge over there. Okay, within a time frame of what's that, 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. So anything that means that essentially anything goes within a time frame. They're down there in Maryland, in a small town in Maryland. They suspended the police force. Okay, see, these are further omens of what's coming to America: complete lawlessness, like it says in Songs of Solomon. That's like your prayer of Azariah around the 8th and 9th verse. Have we been given over to lawless enemies? And that's Esau, Edom. This is why Egypt should be desolation. Edom should be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. All right. But Judah shall dwell forever in Jerusalem from generation to generation. So both the southern and northern kingdoms. So this is Isaiah 24:10. And it reads, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. Is why they usually going to have military blockades, checkpoints, lining up with 2 Esdras 15:17 that says a man shall desire to go into another city, but shall not be able to. Okay. Verse 11 here says, there's a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. You see? And these people found out in the movie the mirth was gone, because even in the time of trouble, okay, there's two scenes that stood out to me in the case what I'm speaking about, where people still wanted to hold on to that folly, okay, and even in the midst of destruction and chaos. So there's a store that the press walked into, including Kirsten Dunst's character, and it ran into like a Shedemite cash register, and she's reading a book with no care in the world, man. And then they were like, why you, basically the like when the main protagonist, journalist was like, why you so calm in the midst of war? She's like, well, we still gotta sell these merch. That's the mentality of these people, man. The vast majority, these modern-day Babylonians, okay? These modern-day Egyptians that believe in this modern-day Egyptian system of bondage, being desensitized to the effects of it so long that they just consider it normal. Okay? Case in point. Even these people that are carnal and uprising against the government, okay, are more logical than these bird-brained, docile people, okay, who just think everything is just, everything is just kosher, everything is just, everything is a laughing matter, in other words. And that's why that Moabite journalist, who's a friend of the main, journalist, who's a friend of the main journalist in the movie, was riding around. He caught up with them. He found his friend riding around in a SUV. He's playing around like a fucking child, man. And there was two men journalists that were playing around, including the Moabite driver. And then the main protagonist in the movie, one of the main protagonists in the movie, the male journalist was like, oh, hey, such and such, good to see you again. Oh. And they started, yelling little Edomite slang to each other, doing a whole bunch of cussing and just playing around, goofing around, man. Okay. And so then the little Sheetamite journalist, that which is the people of Kirsten Dunst's character in the back seat, mimicked what the passenger did of the Moabite journalist driving by switching cars. And I thought that was a little funny, stupid game, man. And that was another spiritual thing that I caught where, lining up with First Thessalonians 5, how, people seek peace and safety, okay, within the vibration of this world, man, through folly, okay, liberty to be a brute beast, a clown, okay, and not exercising any kind of balance. And it caught up with them at the end. It also lines up that prophecy in St. Luke, the 6th chapter, where it said, those who laugh now will cry later. So that damn stupid Moabite journalist still driving the SUV, playing around, laughing like a little child. He ended up getting put to death at the end because he was crying. He was laughing at first, playing around, and then at the end he was crying because he was afraid to get put to death when staring in the face of death by that Edomite military guy, militiaman, okay, with the assault rifle. Then he started crying, and that's going to be the majority of these people, man, because they're not counting the cost, man. Okay, because they don't fear the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. They think there's a future here in America. So, verse 12 says, "In the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction." All right, Esau's wall is going to be thrown down. Further speaks about in the book of Jeremiah, Malachi, and so forth. So this is Sirach 10. We start from the top, and it says, "A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered." All right, Esau doesn't exercise prudence. It was essentially wise restraint, temperance, including temperance. He doesn't exercise none of that, and this is why the women out of order, the men out of order, the children insubordinate out of order. Going into the prophecy in 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, how be disobedient children and so forth, because in a world with no order, this is the result, man. Anarchy, chaos, pride, arrogancy. That's going to cease, pursuing Isaiah 13:11 by the hands of the Lord. Okay. Verse 3. "An unwise king destroyed his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited." Right. An unwise king is Esau Edom because he's not fit to rule, man. Okay. Because he can't even rule himself. And that's why his own nation is divided against himself. Okay, these other so-called European nations against the Edomites of America, NATO. All right, so this further confirms that he knows that he has but a short time to bring forth this satanic New World Order agenda, and this is why he's censoring content that are considered anti-establishment, but he doesn't censor the content that promotes degeneracy and sexual promiscuity and sexual liberty and wickedness. Like including a woman twerking, a young girl twerking. How come that's not being removed off of these social media platforms, but some, videos that provoke thought are censored and removed and shadow banned? Because it's clear that an unwise king is ruling this earth. And who is that? Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, the devil the Bible speaks of, who's created to steal, murder, and destroy. All right? Pursuing St. John 10:10. This is Proverbs 16:14. "The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it." Okay. All right. So look up the word pacify in the interlinear. So this is why this unwise king is bringing forth destruction. Okay. This is I'm going to bring this out in Proverbs 16:14. Or the Hebrew word kapar, to purge, make an atonement, to cover, to be covered. You see? So read this again. "The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it." Or a wise man will be covered by this, by seeking the righteous instruction of the Lord, pursuing Isaiah 33:6 that says, "Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of these times." Okay? That's why in 2 Ezra 16 speaks about walking like a pilgrim. Like Denzel in the movie, the Book of Eli. That's how we're going to be, the elect. Adam writes to myself as a hopeful elect out here, okay, in the midst of wolves, Okay, putting each other to death due to a scarcity of resources because of Esau. Okay, Esau, Edom. Okay, so that's why in 2 Peter 2:19 it says, "For they that promise him liberty are they themselves in service of corruption." So he gave these people, he gave the world liberty to be brute beasts, not knowing that uh, that supposed gift or presented gift is really a curse. It's really a snare of death. Okay, within this covenant with death of this Western philosophy, man, this wine and fornication. All right, and this is why back in this is Second Esdras 15, start at verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And this is exactly what people were doing. They were fighting against military, okay, getting put to death. All right. Even though when there was a voice of reason in the movie, within that old Judite man, okay, with a little light blue dress shirt on, he was like the voice of reason. That was another spiritual thing I caught in a vehicle full of Edomites. He was the only voice of reason, man, because he's an Israelite. That further confirms that we are of the light of the world, which the light of the world is Yahushua. Okay, and His light shines in us because we are his children, man. We are His creation on behalf of Abba Yahweh. That's why it speaks about Him being that the everlasting Father, roughly paraphrasing in Isaiah the 9th chapter, around the 6th verse, because He's the Alpha and Omega. Okay, and He's going to descend back into this realm and subdue you Edomites under his restriction. All right, under His dominion. Okay, and then share you Edomites, as servants in Isaiah the 14th chapter, and then so forth with the rest of His children, man. Those are the perks of an elect Israelite. Those are that's only of the righteous luxury promised to the elect. That's going to come within the aftermath. They're going to be fulfilled within the aftermath of Jacob's trouble, man, in Jeremiah the 30th chapter, to take place in these last days, man. This is why we're in the midst of civil war right now. This is why we're in the midst of martial law being made, imposed by Esau's government on behalf of the wicked elite. So this is verse. Matter of fact, So let me go ahead and grab Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build. And right now, there's a time for the wicked to kill, the faithless. Like it says in 2 Ezra 15:4, the unfaithful shall die in their faithfulness, roughly paraphrasing, man. So this time is here. It's not coming, it's here. It just hasn't fully manifested, okay, within this government being suspended and this economy collapsing, rendering a complete lawless society. Ecclesiastes 3:8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. All right. And peace is only coming through Hamashiach Yahushua. Okay. Following a rehearsing righteous law, statutes, commandments within our measure of faith, appointed unto us by Yahweh, by Hashem and Shai, to be considered worthy enough to be spared in these last days, where the majority of the world is going to be, destroyed. Okay. So, including in this civil war, going to have women in the military. Another thing I caught in the movie, there was a sergeant that was a nigger woman. So that's another way of them promoting that Queen of Heaven spirit. You see, and this is of the intoxication of this proverbial wine, this wine of fornication, that's going to cause the blind to be led by the blind leaders of the blind to that ditch, death and destruction. Presented in St. Matthew the 15th chapter. Because they would not be pacified within the Lord's indignation through these plagues, okay, but rather those whose names are written in the book of life, okay, and those who are going to enjoy the fruits of their labors within the kingdom of heaven, man, and within this paradigm shift that's happening, okay. So this is just a review relatively quick spiritual movie review on this movie, Civil War. Okay, it's been heavily anticipated by the body, but now it's out. So I just got done watching this morning. I just thought I'd put something together. So through the spirit of prophecy, so I don't write this out as for the edifying, exhorting to elect. Give all praises, glory, infinite honor to my power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom is the God of the living. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baruch Kodash, for blessing me the spirit to do this video. And with that, Mawas, Lababal to the wicked, Shalom to the elect, and on to the next one.